Tillo, this is the third place game between Bradley-Bourbonnais and Whitney Young. As a shotgun formation and fakes the reverse. Bradley-Bourbonnais with it still on her feet near the 45 and then finally brought down on the play. It was Bradley-Bourbonnais' Nevaeh Brown. Injury timeout. Slow to get up. Well, partner, it's not the finish that either team wanted, but one winner will get third place. The loser get fourth. Obviously, you'd like to be competing for first or second place, but they were just one win short of that today.
Yes, they were. Both teams played really hard in the games earlier this morning. Whitney Young is coming right off of the last game. They ran, changed jerseys, and here they are.
So here we go. After the injury timeout, it'll be ball at the 46. If you missed any of the action, just go to NFHSnetwork.com/IHSA. As that's high up in the air and knocked away. Intended target. As it was for Melcroy. And it was knocked away by Whitney Young's Nina Lloyd.
It was third down.
3rd and 14.
3rd and 14.
Over the middle. And trying to get away, trying to get that flag. It was the completion that time to Sutton Hop. Leading receiver coming into this one. It'll be 4th and 9 for Bradley-Bourbonnais. Close to midfield here, Michelle, so no reason to punt. They're going to go for it.
Yep. I don't think either team, well, at least this morning, Bradley-Bourbonnais was not doing a lot of punting anyways. So I don't know the strength or the depth of their kick team.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it yesterday when they were playing perspectives, especially perspectives. They were struggling with the punting game. How about this for a play call, but well read by the Dolphins. Still on her feet. And I think they got the flag before she got to the 40, and indeed that's what the sideline judge says. It'll be first down for the Whitney Young Dolphins.
Whitney Young will take over on down.
Again, Whitney Young played really tough in the last game. They had a ton of sacks on Rockford-Guilford. You know, will be interesting to see if they keep that up. They were trying to get rhythm on their offense and just wasn't able to.
They only held Rockford-Guilford to 6 points, but no score for Whitney Young in their last game. That was a game preceding this one. Able to get the flag, a quick run, and just a small gain. If you've never watched flag football before, this is how it works. It's 1st and 20 at the 20s and the 40s, respectively. After that, it's shorter yardage. So 2nd and 18 because the ball started past the 40-yard line. Shotgun formation for the Dolphins. Steps into her throw. Wide open and not well read by the safety that time, Michelle. Quarterback's eyes was eyeing down the receiver. You'd like to see the safety try to jump that route and pick it up.
Yeah, this definitely has been a play that Whitney Young has gone to throughout the day today in the previous game. We'll see if Bradley-Bourbonnais will eventually catch on. That's a target.
Shotgun formation, 3 to the right. Clean pocket. And a little dump-off pass. It was over to Dudley. She had 82 catches coming into the quarterfinals. As she makes the catch, and she'll be tackled near the 33. When I say tackled, obviously means the flag was taken away. Do we consider it a tackle, Michelle, or is there a better way to phrase it?
I usually just say the flag was pulled. I know that's a little bit more cumbersome to say, but it gives footing for this to be its own sport.
Should we call it an FP? Should we make it our own copyrighted acronym?
No, that's okay. We can just do the pulls.
Still on her feet, by the way. Dudley trying to take it the distance, and she does. Touchdown, Whitney Young. 33-yard reception for Dudley. Well, you know, when I was in elementary school, Michelle, first is the worst, second is the best, third is the one with the treasure chest, so that was what we would say at the elementary level. So you know what, the third place game, you're trying to get the treasure chest, right?
I guess, yeah. I know this was probably big for Whitney Young to finally put some points on the board today, and maybe they'll be able to continue that momentum through the game.
So at the 8-yard line, that means it's a 2-point conversion. You can also run it. Got to get it within 7 seconds, though. Too much on the throw. Trying to feed it over to Lloyd. She's a wide receiver, defensive back combination. Clock continues to run, Michelle. Very nice offensive set from Whitney Young. We were wondering if they were going to be a little bit demoralized from that loss to Guilford, as they only lost 6-0. But that game ended an hour ago, and Whitney Young, they look like the same team we saw yesterday in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, you know, Whitney Young, again, was just on the field. They were off for about 20 minutes and back on. And so we'll see if they can keep their energy up. Bradley-Bourbonnais, they played this morning, but they've been just sitting around, so they might be tired too.
I mean, they've got to be tired, maybe even emotionally drained after last night's game where they converted on 4th and 28 to advance to the semis. Clean pocket. That's Munster, and she's a freshman. She had 23 touchdowns to 0 interceptions entering the quarterfinals. 3 more years of football for her. She's going to get a lot of experience under her belt, and this might be a Bradley-Bourbonnais team that could win it all next season. One in the backfield for the Boilermakers. Little drop-off pass behind the line of scrimmage, still on her feet. Fell on her own accord. They do call unsportsmanlike conduct if you tackle on purpose, but the ball carrier for Bradley-Bourbonnais just fell on her own accord after a big game. It was completed to Nevaeh Brown.
It'll be 3rd down.
3rd and 20. I think that's a misprint off the Jumbotron. Here we go, 3rd and 9.
31.
Yeah, they're just reaching the 40 to get that first down.
Jumbotron guy trying to keep me on my toes. 3rd and 9. Over to the right, pump fake. And she's going to take it herself. Well read by Whitney Young. Very nice job by the Dolphins there, Michelle. Quarterback spy, forcing the quarterback to run right up the middle where they can take the flag away.
Yeah, Whitney Young, again, was pretty powerful. They held Rockford-Guilford to only 6. And so their defense is definitely on a roll.
Any chance for Fremd in the championship? That's a Rockford-Guilford team that's now 21-0.
You know, I'm sticking with Rockford-Guilford on that one. They just truly are on a roll. And being undefeated, I think that they just have that momentum going.
If you're just watching flag football for the first time, there are no dog piles on a fumble. So when the ball is fumbled, it's a dead ball, which means it's excellent field position for Whitney Young. So you got to be paying attention as a punter. It's got to be a good snap, catch the ball, and then punt.
1st and 9.
Yeah, that was a big turnover.
From the Bradley-Bourbonnais 29.
As we get closer to the second half, and then once the second half starts, you think we're going to see some reserves and underclassmen, as this will be the last game for both teams?
I certainly hope that they're able to get everybody in to the games. You know, although this is the championships, or I guess
it's the 3rd place game.
Yeah, but the you know, still the state finals where, you know, it would be great to have everybody have that opportunity to play.
Avery Mortree on the stop for Bradley-Bourbonnais.
Be 2nd and 3. This is the first year of flag football as a state-sanctioned sport in terms of the state series. But it's been around a long time. It used to be called Powder Puff. Now it's called flag. 2nd and 3. Got to get to the 20. One in motion for the Dolphins. Clean pocket. Drop-off pass. And then able to get the flag after she gets past the 20. It'll be spotted near the 18.
Both of these teams were playing before this year. Fremd is the only contender that this was their first year of putting a team together.
It's been a fun state series. I mean, we saw yesterday Fremd was very close to being knocked out early in the quarterfinals, and then a long touchdown pass. They were down 13-12, but ended up beating Evanston 20-13. Clean pocket. Yeah, it's a nice pass. Completed. Whitney Young with their 2nd touchdown of the game. It's completed to Platchta.
For flag football, anything can happen at any moment. And so, quick, fast-paced game, even if you're down, doesn't mean that it's over.
Whitney Young will attempt the 2-point conversion.
It's like I said, though, Michelle, I don't know how much more Bradley has left in the tank after last night. They had to play earlier today, so mostly draining at how they had to come back yesterday. And in fact, they were struggling to start off that quarterfinal, and then Munster threw a 77-yard touchdown pass to tie the score. Clean pocket for Petroulis. That was a rocket into the back of right into the end zone. As it's completed a Plachta, so she scores all 8 points on that drive. The touchdown and the 2-point conversion.
Left in the first half to score.
We'll see if Bradley-Bourbonnais can make something happen here. Again, they're needing to get 20 yards to get to that first down. Hopefully they can get to that 40.
It'll be first and 20 for Bradley-Bourbonnais from their own 20.
If you missed any of the action, just go to NFHSnetwork.com. Millions of athletes, we are high school. As that's deflected away. I mean, we saw this yesterday. Munster can struggle at times. She's just a freshman. Going up against some juniors and seniors from the Dolphins. Give credit where credit is due to this Dolphins team. They're playing hard. They were so close, but yet so far away from going to the championship game just an hour ago. But they're fighting hard to try to get that third-place trophy. Second and 20. One in the backfield. Handoff. She gets to the edge. Now past the 25. As it was a brilliant run that time by Nevaeh Brown, just a sophomore.
Pushed out of bounds by Sophia Brandenburg.
Brandenburg credited with the FP, the flagpole.
It'll be 3rd and 9 from their own 31.
Under 8 minutes to go in the first half, running clock until we get to the 1-minute warning. Clean pocket. As Munster, a little bit high. Always a dangerous throw, Michelle, because a lot of these defenses play zone defense. You throw it a little bit high, that's going to be picked off, and we saw it yesterday where Guilford took it to the house.
Yeah, she almost would have gotten more yards if she just ran with it.
4th and 9.
Down by 12. Still too early to go for it. If you were at the 40 or the 50, I would say go for it, but inside your own 35, you got to kick.
Yeah, especially this early in the game and being down by 14.
High arching kick. Good hang time, but low distance. And they're going to say fumble. She's going to be marked at the 49.
Ball is down.
Petroulis with a couple of touchdown passes.
For Whitney Young.
You can rewatch this game as many times as you'd like. NFHSnetwork.com/IHSA. You can also download the NFHS Network app on the Google or the Apple Play Store. And what's interesting about flag football, since the ball is spotted at the 49, it's 1st and 9 because we can only have 1st and 20 at the 20 and 40-yard lines, respectively. 4 wide receiver set. Everybody's eligible to go downfield, including the center. It's a handoff this time. We'll call it the pseudo-I formation as it's only 7-on-7. And the ball's going to be spotted at the 44. Nope, they're going to respot it to the 42.
So the Whitney Young Dolphins have just reached the no-run zone. As you get closer to the making that first down, you lose the opportunity to run. It's certainly a challenge in coaching.
You got to remember that both on offense and defense. 2nd and 2. Nice pass, and finally brought down that time by the Boilermakers, Lily Arglian.
On the stop for Bradley-Bourbonnais.
We have a lot of fun last names, Michelle. There's not a lot of John Smiths or Joe Jones.
I think it keeps it real.
Already on 1st and 12.
Best name possibly that's remaining in the tournament. It's got to be Guilford, Zariah Burnett.
32.
She had that pick 6 to make it 20-6 and eliminate Lane Tech. That was the late night game. 1st and 12 for the Dolphins. They're going right down the field again. Here's a reverse. Able to get the flag at the 27. You'd like for the Boilermakers to pick up the intensity, but Michelle, you can also understand a little bit frustrated. You get so close to go to the championship game and you were 1 win short.
Yeah, and then sitting around to watch the last game, sometimes that motivation, that energy just really drains out of you.
You had more time to think about what went wrong in the semifinal. And, you know, some people really want that 3rd place trophy. Other people are like, well, it's not 1st place. It's in the hands. The old adage goes, if it's in the hands, it's on the receiver.
Pass incomplete.
Unless, of course, you're throwing it to a Bears receiver, where even if it's in the hands, they still couldn't catch it anyways. Timeout on the field. We'll take a 30-second break. You're watching the Dolphins against the Boilermakers here on NFHS Network.
OSF On-Call Urgent Care. Care for minor illnesses and injuries is available 24/7 virtually. Choose an online interview or video visit with OSF On-Call Urgent Care providers. The next time you need care, go to osfoncall.org/virtual visit to get started. IT fuels the best because IT is the best. Gatorade, proud partner of the IHSA State Finals and Ethics Everywhere, is it in you. Did you know Illinois Wesleyan has been ranked the #1 college in Illinois for jobs? It's true.
Back to the action. I'm Kyle Smith alongside Michelle Tantillo. It's 14-0 in favor of the Dolphins. What do you want to see on defense if you're the Boilermakers? Because it's very easy right now for the Dolphins to get downfield.
Yeah, they've been doing good with that flagpole. They just really need to maybe block for the pass, try and go for the ball.
Wide open. Nice route at the 5. Hesitation move. Where are they going to spot it? And she's inside the 5. But yeah, it's like you talked about yesterday, Michelle. When you do those crossing patterns, it does frustrate and confuse the defense to the point where Dudley gets wide open on the far sideline and she can almost score.
Yeah.
So very friendly spot. I've got 1st and goal at the 1, but you can't run it because it's less than 5 yards away from the end zone.
Correct.
Whew.
Michelle,
for people that aren't familiar with flag football, can you run a screen pass and then can the quarterback run out on a lateral to score?
Yes, as long as the ball is leaving the quarterback's hand going forward motion, once the play is started, you can do pretty much anything from there.
Surprised we haven't seen that a lot, at least not from yesterday, where the quarterback then rolls out as a wide receiver after throwing it. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 1. Open in the back of the end zone. Touchdown pass. And the way the Boilermakers offense is stagnant right now, that might be the dagger. Because it's a 3rd place game. You know, you talked about it yesterday, Michelle. Once it's 20-0, game's over. But because it's 3rd place game, we're going to play this game out.
That's one of the rules that I always wish we could finish those last 2 minutes. It's only a handful of plays. Let's get the girls an opportunity to play.
Right. Now, if it's 50-0, then I can understand. Might be time to end the game.
But with 2 minutes, let them play. It's only a handful of plays.
It's the last game of the season, too. Did she get in? I don't know about that, Michelle. I think they got her. Friendly spot. She's in 22-0. We'll take a 30-second break. We'll stick with the action. 22-0 in favor of the Whitney Young Dolphins. You can watch this broadcast as many times as you'd like on NFHSnetwork.com/IHSA. Rewind, fast forward, pause, you name it. Millions of athletes, we are high school. Yeah, I mean, you can just see the nonverbal communication and the frustration by the Boilermakers. They just look emotionally drained, and can they come back down 22-0? Sure, but they just seem too frustrated to do so.
Yeah, they need these last few minutes to run out with only positive plays and then reach that halftime to regroup.
Here comes the pressure. You know, that's the thing, Michelle. When you're a right-handed quarterback, it's something we talked about yesterday, you'd like to roll to your right away. When you roll to the left, you're throwing on the side of your body that's awkward. So if they're going to rush at you, you'd like to roll to your right automatically so it's easier for you to step into your throw, get situated, and then get the ball downfield. And then obviously for a left-handed quarterback, you want to roll to your left.
Right, and Whitney Young has been showing that blitz in the last game, and so they got that down. Here she goes again.
Running play to the 20. You know, East and West might work in the regionals, but these are very good defensive players once we get to the quarters, semis, and now the 3rd place game. those east and west, those hesitations, stutter step moves, they're not going to work as much as they did in the regionals.
No, and that's one of the things that's really hard for athletes who are coming from maybe a sport of basketball or lacrosse. It really matters getting those extra yards moving forward.
You want to try to make a man miss, but getting 2 more yards instead of a lot of hesitation moves. Pass and behind the receiver. Munster can't believe it, as the intended target was Amber Melchor.
For Malaya Burnett, incomplete.
Technically, you'd want to punt, but you're already down 22. Do you really want to give the ball back to Whitney Young with great field position?
Well, they're punting.
Okay. Down 22-0. We see the backup quarterback in the second half to get her some reps for next year. We'll see.
1 minute left in the half. 1 minute.
Very impressive by Whitney Young. It's not easy when you're the second game of the doubleheader of the semifinals and you lose, and then you got to play 30 minutes later for a third-place game. There's Dudley doing everything today.
Dudley on the return for Whitney Young.
It's one of the negatives of that hesitation move, Michelle, is when you stop and start, it does allow the defense, if they can come to a stop, it's easier for them to pull that flag out.
Yeah, that is definitely part of it. Sometimes that's just human nature, though, and that's something that you got to work on overcoming.
If you can just go north and south in flag football, it's not like tackle. If you go north and south, they can just wrap you up. But in flag, you got to pull that flag out. So going north and south in flag football is some more advantageous than east and west. Be 1st and 3 at the 43. Petrulis, a little drop-off pass in the flat. Rinse, lather, repeat. Everything's working right now for Petrulis and the 7-on-7 offense.
Yeah, it's too bad they didn't have some of this momentum in the previous game.
Right. Nothing against Bradley-Bourbonnais' defense, but it's not Rockford-Guilford.
Correct. Rockford-Guilford showed, again, a very strong defense, blitzing, all of it.
If Burnett had a pick in that game, she now has over 20 picks entering the championship game. That's the thing, partner. East and West, it looks good on camera. You get those highlight reel plays, but you don't gain any yards on it.
Avery Moutry on the stop for Bradley-Bourbonnais.
And that's the one thing that helps out a linebacker or safety. When you do a hesitation move or a stop and start move, you try to plant that foot. It's easier for the linebacker to pull that flag up. 1 minute warning. We'll take a 30-second break. It's 22-0 in favor of the Dolphins here on NFHS Network. Oh, I thought that was a 1 minute warning. I'm sorry, I can't see this clock. Kyle Smith alongside Michelle Tantillo, 22-0. Obviously not the start that Bradley wanted. You'd like to see more consistency from the offense. But, sometimes it's hard for these players. You wanted the first-place trophy. And, you're in the third-place game. That's nice, but it's not exactly what you wanted.
Yeah. Let's see if they were able to regroup during their halftime, pull something together, figure out a way to stop the Dolphins.
What do you think we're going to see from the Boilermakers? Are we going to see the starters or maybe some reserves as 20 more minutes remaining of the Boilermakers season?
I think they'll start with their starters and then maybe transition, get some players in. They certainly have been able to sub in as they go, so it might not be the original starting 7.
I hate to use the terminology silver linings, but for Whitney Young, unless something crazy happens, I think they're going to win this and get the third-place trophy. You were 6 points away. If you had scored 6, gotten the 2-point or 1-point conversion, you were 6 points away from beating Rockford Guilford, an undefeated team, and being in the championship game. Do you work on that? Do you build on that into the offseason for the second year of the state tournament?
You absolutely. You watch all the film. You learn from all of it, your games, other games, and you get better because of it.
So Bradley-Bourbonnais had the first half. It'll be Whitney Young and the Dolphins on offense. Petrilis with 3 touchdown passes, as her favorite target has been Abigail Plachta, as well as Detonay Dudley. It's a pretty big school. Enrollment of 1924. Guilford is 1843. See what Whitney Young wants to do. Last game of the year. And that's what we were wondering if they were going to do. A little quick lateral and tackled past the 45, but not before the Dolphins get a big gain. Layden Hormuth, the freshman running back, on the pitch and catch from Detonay Dudley.
This has actually been their worst field position starting with the ball the whole game.
Yeah, they forced 3 punts from Bradley-Bourbonnais.
First and 15.
The backup quarterback for Whitney Young is Georgia Lang. She's number 10. As Petrilis. I don't think she intended that to go out of bounds, but it goes out of bounds regardless. It was 2nd and 15.
Martin Rubenstein, incomplete.
Yeah, I think she was expecting her receiver to be a couple inches taller.
Don't we all? Don't we all? So
now, 2nd and 15.
So it'll be 2nd and 15 now. Everybody eligible, including the center. A little drop-off pass to the...
This is a good pull.
Yeah, yep. To Dudley on the reception. As on the tackle was Bradley-Bourbonnais, Sophia DiCarlo, the senior defensive back. Whitney Young, they don't have to score again. They can just run clock, take your time.
Yeah, they do have to get to the 40, though. Otherwise, they're going to have to turn over the ball.
Yeah. Unless it's like 4th and 5, they'll probably punt.
47.
Clean pocket for Petrilis over the middle. And it's going to be 4th and short.
Petrilis pass, complete to Marcelo Matalana.
Well, you could try to punt to pin him in deep, but since you're up 22-0, you could be overly aggressive here.
Yeah, I think they're going to go for it.
The other thing, too, we haven't seen great punters yet in this tournament. So, you talk about, oh, yeah, just what about that Bears punter that can pin him inside the 20? Haven't seen a Tory Taylor-esque punter in this tournament. As that is completed. What's funny is the Bears have struggled for years on offense, excluding this year, of course. The year they won the division, they were struggling on offense a little bit. And Urlacher actually voted Brad Mader, the punter, as the team MVP. Now, he was good that year. He had a punting average over 45 yards. But I don't know. I don't know what that says about your team when the team MVP is the punter. 1st and 9 at the 29. Just a beautiful day for football, Michelle.
Yeah, not a cloud in the sky.
Hopefully it stays like this for the boys' state series. comes the pressure. She's open, though, is Dudley. Underthrew her, but Dudley comes back for the ball brilliantly. And then tackled near the 10, the FP, the flagpole. Everything's working right now for Whitney Young.
From the Bradley-Bourbonnais 11.
Yeah, they're just marching straight down the field. Bradley-Bourbonnais didn't seem to make a lot of adjustments.
I believe Dudley will finish the year with over 100 catches. If she's not the best wide receiver in the state, I don't know who is. Clean pocket for Petrulis with tons of time.
Way too deep.
Right, and that's the thing, Michelle, that I wish some of these offenses would do more. When the linebackers are in the back in the end zone, tell your wide receiver to come back to the ball and do a little comeback route to maybe the corner of the end zone or near the pylon.
Second and goal from the Bradley-Bourbonnais 11.
That'll make it second and goal at the 11. 5 wide receiver set in the center and the quarterback. Pump fake by Petrulis. Completed pass near the end zone.
Yeah, they got it right before she got in.
Petrulis pass complete to Georgia Lane.
They're making them fight for this one.
The backup quarterback catches it. Georgia Lane with the reception. So it makes flag football so great. The backup quarterback lining up a receiver. Third and goal at the 1. You can't run it, but you can do a little shovel pass to the center if you want. Very impressive by Whitney Young. Like we've said, it's not what they wanted, the third-place trophy, but they're most likely going to get it. Petrulis, drop-off pass, too much on it. They'll make it 4th and goal at the 1.
The thing that Whitney Young is doing well here is they are using a lot of the clock on this drive.
Something that Whitney Young could try. I don't think they'll do it, but the center is eligible at receiver. You throw it to the center, and then the center quick laterals it back to the quarterback. Petrulis to the end zone, touchdown. 28-0. And, Michelle, it's not that easy to go down the field, but Whitney Young is doing it consistently this afternoon.
Yeah, and as I said, they took just a bunch of time off the clock, and so we'll see if Bradley-Bourbonnais is able to adjust. And
will attempt a 1-point conversion.
when they get the ball here, get down the field, get in that end zone.
28-0 for Whitney Young. Open, good pass at the highest point and caught. The 1-point conversion's good, 29-0.
Conversion is good.
If you missed any of the action, just hit the rewind button. Go to NFHSnetwork.com/IHSA to watch all of your NFHS network coverage. Millions of athletes. We are high school.
Bradley-Bourbonnais, nothing.
Well, Michelle, Mama said there'd be days like this. Mama said, and that's what's happening to Bradley-Bourbonnais right now.
Yeah, they just seem tired.
From Bradley-Bourbonnais.
It's been a long day, a long weekend.
Pump fake by Munster, downfield. Should be pass interference. Oh, boy. Look, I know it's 29-0, and Bradley-Bourbonnais is not going to win this one, but you still got to call interference there.
Phoenix Higginbottom on the coverage.
Why do you think the ref didn't call interference there, Michelle?
She didn't really have her hands on the Bradley-Bourbonnais girl. She was really just going for the ball. Incidental contact.
Kylie Stanek was the intended receiver. Clean pocket for Munster. Little drop-off pass in the flat. That's Munsterman, the quarterback.
Naomi Fernandez on the stop.
And it'll be 3rd and 19. Clean pocket. Overshot a receiver. As the clock continues to go down, and Bradley-Bourbonnais' season is most likely going to be a 4th place finish.
Yeah, and at this point it gets hard without that motivation, that momentum. It's hard to pick up and get in the end zone multiple times with only a handful of minutes left.
So we're going to see the first reserve of the game. Into the game now is Camila Fajardo, the senior center. Sutton Hop plays center for this Bradley-Bourbonnais team. Pump fake. Linebackers are there to greet her. And finally gets the flag near the 40.
Yeah, first down.
First and 10, and Bradley-Bourbonnais still playing hard and fighting, trying to make sure they're not shut out in their last game of the season. Don't go anywhere. On WCIU, it'll be the championship game between Fremd and Rockford Guilford. Can Rockford Guilford pull off the amazing undefeated season, or can Fremd pull off the upset? Pump fake and over near the 40. Lost yardage. Nice job on the tackle. It's going to be credited to Whitney Young's Abigail Platsta. Actually, it's Fernandez credit with the tackle. Munsterman had a great season, just not a great third-place game. And she's going to remember that 4th and 28 conversion forever. Not just that, as this is a pass on the sideline. Another attempt, that time no pass interference, as Stanek wanted the call, but they're not going to call it. That time it was clean defense, as on the coverage was Georgia Lang, the backup quarterback. They might have to update that depth chart, as she's been playing all over the field today. Receiver, safety, now it's a third-place game. Timeout called by the Dolphins. We'll take a timeout as well. It's 29-0 in favor of Whitney Young.
Country Financial is proud to be the presenting sponsor for the IHSA Girls Flag Football State Championships. Country Financial makes insurance easy. Worry less and feel more confident with insurance designed to meet your specific needs. Visit countryfinancial.com to experience more today. OSF On-Call Urgent Care is there when you need it, even between games. Care for minor illnesses and injuries is available 24/7 virtually. Choose an online interview or video visit with OSF On-Call Urgent Care providers. The next time you need care, go to osfoncall.org/virtual visit to get started. Culver's is a proud sponsor of local youth sports, and they are honored to be part of the Illinois Flag Football Championships today. At Culver's, they support the athletes, the coaches, and the families.
Back to the action.
To make events in our local communities like this possible. Thanks
Back to the action. Kyle Smith alongside Michelle Tantillo. As 4 wide receiver set. 1 in the backfield.
From their own 39.
You know, the energy in the stadium, even though, we've got this third-place game, there's lots of players from all sorts of teams that are here, coaches from teams that haven't made this point in the season, and it's just really nice to see everybody come out and celebrate each other.
Yeah, the sportsmanship has been great. We saw it yesterday where people were shaking hands even after a great catch. The defensive back was shaking hands with the receiver.
And that was a big first down for Bradley-Bourbonnais.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get shut out your last game of the season. Not that you ever want to get shut out in general. Both teams were so close, especially Whitney Young. I mean, Whitney Young's been fighting all tournament long as we've gotten to the quarterfinals. They were so close last night to being knocked off in the quarterfinals, but they came back to beat Willowbrook. It's Willowbrook High School, by the way, so it was Willowbrook's home field. And they found a way to win that one. They found a way to compete with Guilford. And still on her feet on the near sideline. Breaking through tackles, and it was a nice run by the Boilermakers, Nevaeh Brown.
Picking up a little momentum here. Good to see for them.
They're going to credit to Papagiannis on the tackle.
You know, sometimes hosting at your home field, you lose the perspective of it being as important of a game as it is. You just feel like it's an average, normal season game, and so I wonder if that's what, happened to Willowbrook.
Yeah, they definitely didn't have their A effort last night. Smers was struggling, and that's something Willowbrook has to consider Do we want Smurs? She'll be a senior next year, by the way. Do we want Smurs always playing on both sides of the ball, or would we rather her just play quarterback? Because playing quarterback is so difficult, Michelle. Then you add on being a defensive back or linebacker. That's just so many responsibilities to do in this fast-paced sport of flag football.
Some of the people who are coming here from soccer, though, this is actually a slower sport, so they have the athleticism.
Boy, she was so wide open she could have read the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, but overthrew her.
Must have been passed. Jennifer Amber Melkor incomplete. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Got to get it to her. It happens, though.
13.
Overthrows galore. People that know Mitch Trubisky, that was what he was known for. 3rd and 13. You know, 4-down territory, Michelle, so you'd like to get positive yardage 5 or more to get to a manageable 4th down. Handoff. She'll get inside the 10, inside the 5. And did she try to push off the defender, or was she trying to fall down? It was a running play to the backup as they got it to Bristol Schreifer.
4th and goal from the Whitney Young 5.
4th and 5. You cannot run the ball here, Michelle.
Yeah, so that takes away some of the plays, some of the options, but the pass does not have to be a far one. Just a little bit of forward movement to a player, and you got it.
Now, you can fake a running play. We saw Rockford Guilford do that a lot last night. Just because you can't run doesn't mean you don't show the run.
Correct, because that's definitely sometimes then misleading if the defense is not paying attention or aware. They will be drawn by the fake run.
And sometimes defenders are like, oh, I don't have to defend because they forgot that it's the 5-yard zone. And then they're just like, oh, I don't have to defend. And then all of a sudden the wide receiver runs past you because they're like, ha-ha, we're not running, we're actually passing. What do you think that the Boilermaker coaching staff is talking to their players? Not the result they wanted, but if they score here, just something to work on and build on for next season.
Yeah, they're focused on just getting in the end zone. They've got only a few more yards, and I think they easily can get there.
Boilermakers, led by Rebecca Odette, assisted by Shauna Dinham and Jacob Rotsulk. Some really fun names in this tournament, especially Rotsulk. That's fun to say. 4th and goal at the 5. 1 in the backfield. 4 wide receiver set. She's got a clean pocket. Munsterman to the end zone. Touchdown. Second time's the charm. First one she couldn't get to her wide open receiver. That time she gets it to the wideout. 29-6. Now they just need a 2-point conversion. And another pick six. And another pick six. And then they're right back in it.
Yep.
No onside kicks today.
In this sport, 6 minutes, they have time.
Right, now but it would be it'd be up to the Dolphins to throw this one away with a couple of pick sixes. It got so bad for Matt Schaub, he threw a pick 6 in 4 straight games. At a local restaurant in Houston, it became the pick 6 burger. Pick 6 toppings. Nice play call. Conversion, good. In and out of the hands and then back in the breadbasket. 29-8, clock continues to run. You love to see it. You know, Boilermakers, not their best effort in the 3rd place game, but they found a way to score the touchdown. Was it in garbage time? Sure. But at the same time, you score a touchdown, it still counts. And for Whitney Young, they're fine with giving up the touchdown because that wastes clock and they're closer to getting that 3rd place trophy.
Whitney Young needs to just take as much time as they possibly can, just slowly moving down the field, whether they get in the end zone or not. Just chunking away at those first downs.
Dudley again. What do you think makes her so effective as a wide receiver? It's just drop back to pass for Petrillis, and then she finds her favorite target in Dudley.
Yeah, sometimes it just is a matter of, being at the right spot, just that flow between the quarterback and the receiver.
In pocket for Petrillis. Here comes the pressure over the middle. Completed to her favorite target. As it was Plachta. Talked about her a lot yesterday.
Stop by Caroline Kuntz.
And, if you can find girls that are on the rugby team, I think that'd be so advantageous for flag football. If you play rugby and you're used to wearing the scrum cap, and then you're used to laterals, because you can lateral it in this sport since there's no tackle. But you got to be fast. You know, you talked about it a lot, Michelle. You could run a lot of different plays, but you got to be able to execute them.
Correct, and with the speed of this game, sometimes it's just better to stick with a few tried and true and then add in when you need to.
You know, sometimes dump and dunk passing plays are okay because, yeah, it's nice. My quarterback has 7 seconds to throw. That's true, but the defense also starts 7 yards back, so they're in a zone look and they have more time to drop back into coverage than a normal tackle football game. I mean, we talk about cover 2 and cover 3. Flag football, it's like cover 7 at times.
Yep.
2nd and 4. Very nice game for Petrulis. Really excited. Fumble.
Ball's down.
Fumbled snap. Happens all the time. I remember that Super Bowl, last one the Bears played in, Rex Grossman fumbled 2 snaps.
3rd and 6.
If it could happen in the NFL, it can certainly happen in flag football.
Well, and this year being the first year, slightly different rules than some of the teams have been playing. Last year they were able to just start with the center and kind of side pitch to the quarterback instead of snapping from the ground like they do this year. So it's still new for all teams.
And if you can find that good center that has clean snaps, clean shotgun snaps, it's an important role. You know, in the NFL, we all talk about the quarterback, and it's an important position. But, man, when you've got that center, I mean, as great as Peyton Manning was, when you've got Jeff Saturday, they can get him the ball right on target, right in rhythm. You talk about those Steelers teams in the 70s. I mean, yeah, they had an electric offense, high-flying offense, but they had Mike Webster snapping the ball to their QB and Terry Bradshaw. Clean pocket for Petrulis, looks downfield. She's got a wide-open woman, and there she is. Except they throw it to the other wide-open woman. Touchdown pass, and that was a breakdown in coverage by Bradley-Bourbonnais. There were 2 girls wide open down the field, and the exclamation point on a very impressive win for the Boilermakers today.
Yep, it's a big thing. Don't let them get behind you.
You know, and that's where a good quarterback comes into play. You pump fake to hold the safety. If the safety bites, then your wide receiver on the double move fly route or a post route, she's into the end zone.
Final score.
And that'll do it. The refs will blow it dead. 35-8. Bradley gets blown out, but the good news is, Michelle, they scored a touchdown and got a 2-point conversion, and they'll still get a 4th-place banner in their gymnasium.
And out of 154 teams, this is not a bad spot to still be sitting in.
That's pretty good percentile, right? 4th out of 154. And Whitney Young finishes in 3rd place. Congratulations to the Boilermakers. Congratulations to the Dolphins, the NFHS Network Player of the Game. It was obviously Petrulis with all those touchdown passes. Honorable mention to Dudley. An honorable mention to Munsterman. She didn't have a great game as they shake hands, and her players are congratulating Munsterman on a fantastic season. Once again, coming into the quarterfinals, the freshman signal caller, 23 touchdowns, no interceptions, and that beautiful 77-yard touchdown pass, and the 4th and 28 conversion to even get Bradley-Bourbonnais to play in the semis and play 2 games today. Final thoughts, Michelle? It was a fun tournament to cover.
You know, it's just such an exciting time to be here with this sport and the emergence of flag football really as a trend across the United States and bringing women into football.
We're going to take a break, our last one of the flag football season. That does it for our broadcast. So for our excellent crew, Eric Ratchie and Phil Dorner, I'm Kyle Smith alongside Michelle Tantillo. That does it for our 2024 coverage of the flag football season. Final score of the 3rd place game, 36-8 here at beautiful Willowbrook High School.